Hey guys, Blue Clay coming at you. Um, I got enough material to give you guys a couple of videos here in the next day or so. I'm gonna post this one tonight, and then maybe get another one up tomorrow. Uh, we're gonna talk about magnetic north again. Okay, I'm gonna try to stick just to the subject here, guys, and try to stay a little bit more centered. But this information has come across over to me through a sub that had pointed me towards a video on YouTube. The sub was Seven Dwarves. Thank you, Seven Dwarves. Good job. You know, thank you for pointing this out to me. And, because I want everybody to know that when you guys send me links, I do go check them out. Doesn't necessarily mean I agree with what the video is saying, but I actually do go at least check them out. So, anyway, what this is, guys, is, and they have a website also. It's called, actually, believe it or not, it's called poleshiftnews.com. Okay. I went over and looked at their YouTube channel. I think they had like 16,000 subs. So it's not like they're not known at all, but they're not huge. And they did, this work that they're doing here, I think that they really deserve to be a little bit bigger. So give them some love. Go over there and sub up to their channel. Tell them who sent you. I mean, I haven't talked to them or anything like that, specifically. But, I really would, go check them out. So, anyway, this is from their video, and what this is, what you're looking at, and I'm not going to run you through their whole video because I want you guys to go check them out. But this is the globe, and these are the strength of the magnetism. This is what this globe is representing. Okay. They actually have, data points and stuff that they do and all those kinds of things. And if you go to their website, you can see this. But what I'm going to talk about here, guys, is what the basis of their theory, what's going on. They actually think that our poles have split, not flipped, or, hasn't flipped. Okay. They think it's split into two. Basically, we have a pole reversal. Okay, so they think it's split here, not a reversal or a flip. They think we have two north poles and two south poles. Okay, that's basically what they're trying to say here. Now they've backed us with some observations and some decent science behind it. So what I'm trying to say is that these guys just didn't come out and just say this. This is something that this is basically why this observatory is here, is to map the migration of magnetic north and other magnetic stuff going around the planet. Okay, and if you go over to the website, they have tabs to a bunch of different tools that you can go look at. It's a good teaching thing over there anyway, so I would suggest you guys go check all that out. But what they're trying to say here, guys, is it's split into two. And you can kind of see it, right? I mean, ain't that kind of what this is kind of looking like? Now, is that actually what's going on? Again, theory, okay? But they are backing this with some pretty solid observations. So, our compasses, right? They point towards north, if you're in the northern hemisphere, right? Okay? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that they do say in their video, and please go watch it, that the one that's over here in Siberia is stronger than the one that's over here. Okay, so what they did was they got a magnet. They got a couple magnets out. They put a compass down in between it, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. But actually, I'll just go to it now. Right here. Okay, this is what they did, and this is a zoomed in picture. Okay, they used some sort of basically a filter type of situation to show you where the actual magnetic field was. Like I said, again, go watch their video. But what I want you guys to notice, first off, we can call this compass basically Earth. Okay? We'll just put E there. All right? This is a magnet, and this is a magnet of the same polarity. All right? So they're not attracting to each other, is what I'm trying to tell you here. Okay, they're pushing against each other at this point. It's basically what this is saying. Okay, well, what you need to look at is, see the needle on the compass? Let's draw a straight line. Does that hit either one of those magnets? Nope. It's right in the middle. Okay? Now that probably happens when, the fields of a magnetic field, it would happen still a little bit, I would think. I can't say for sure because I don't know if it was still just one magnet. But what I just showed you, it looked like it was pretty much separated pretty close to that. But basically what they're trying to tell you here is our needles right now on our compasses are pointing to where these two magnetic fields meet. Okay? Basically right in the middle. All right, now why is this happening? Is this possible? Could this happen? This is absolutely possible. Okay, I've done some research on it. You guys can do it yourself. I've seen diagrams of globes that have shown that they had 8 or 9, 10 different, poles. Okay. Matter of fact, that's one of the theories they have out there for when ours do flip or whatever, we may temporarily go into a bunch of different magnetic fields, which could cause a lot of chaos or what have you. I would think that it would. Obviously our magnets would be going all over the place. Our compasses would be going all over the place. But, I would probably say that would be the least of our worries at that point. But, anyway, I think that this is a very valid theory. Do I think this is all that's going on? No. Do I think that these poles have split? I'm still on the fence with that. Okay? I'm not saying that they have, and I'm not saying that they haven't, in my own opinion. I would still need to have some more information or more observation to kind of convince me of this, because this is actually kind of a drastic thing to kind of believe. And anybody that's in this community know that we have to believe in some pretty drastic stuff. Okay, so that's why we keep an open mind, and that's why I'm bringing this to you guys now. Because I think that possibly this might answer some of our questions on why we're seeing weird magnetic disruptions. Do I think that this is all that's going on? Absolutely not. Okay, I think we have celestial stuff out there. You guys know what I think about that. Okay, do I think that might be what's causing these, possibly what's causing these things to split maybe to two different poles? It's a possibility. All right. Now, like I said, is that the only thing going on? No, I don't think so. But just to run this through here, guys. Okay, now you guys heard me talking about in my previous video, I guess the threshold that everybody's looking at right now is 40 degrees. Okay, as far as location on the globe. Now, what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to take you guys over to YouTube real quick, okay? Bear with me here and I'll keep talking. But I'm going to take you to their video, all right? Now, their video, like I said... Oops.
If you run around writing wrongs all your life.
Let's do that. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to do that. But this is their YouTube thing, okay? This video here with the big globe on it right there was the first one they put out, but he said it had kind of a messed up audio on it, so he went ahead and remade some of it and was explaining to it here in this video, which is where we're going to go to. Okay, and this is the point where I wanted to show you, okay? Now, like I said, they're saying 40 degrees. Okay, what he's doing here, and he's going to explain it to you, he's put a magnet on the end of a stick, and he starts moving it. And once the needle on this compass gets to around 40, right before it gets to 40, you see it start to react, bounce around a little bit. Okay, and what are we seeing right now on the Earth when we see the disruptions? We're seeing stuff bounce around a little bit from directions that we can't explain. Okay, it's almost like, and I've heard a lot of people say this, that, we've talked about the Earth being a capacitor. All right, it's almost kind of like it's coming from the Earth. But like I said, I don't think that that's all that's going on. I think that this is just part of it. All right. Now, once this thing gets close to 40, it's going to start jumping around, and then once it gets to 40, you're going to see the sucker flip. Okay? And this is why they're saying 40 degrees when you're looking at the globe, when they're plotting magnetic north. this is actually a very good visual explanation to make people understand what happens when it does get to 40, or what they theorize will happen when it gets to 40. So I'm going to let this play and you guys can
migrate into a 40-degree total movement. What I'm going to do in this experiment is I've got an iridium magnet on the bottom of a toothpick, and I'm just going to rotate it slowly. You can see it's held there by a bit of blue tack to keep the magnet stuck to the stick. But watch what happens when it gets to around about 40 degrees on the compass. Watch what happens to the needle as it starts to shake, and then it should automatically flip over. This is the turning point, if you ask me.
Okay, I'm going to run that back and let you guys see that again. Okay. Let's run it back a little bit more. That's probably right. Okay.
Slowly, you can see it's held there by a bit of blue tack to keep the magnet stuck to the stick. But watch what happens when it gets to around about 40 degrees on the compass. Watch what happens to the needle as it starts to shake, and then it should automatically flip over. This is the...
Okay, you see that? Okay. Now what I'm going to say here, guys, is when it gets to 40, okay, why they think that that's going to flip. What happens when you get two magnets together of opposite polarity? They draw to each other, don't they? They're going to smack together. That's why that needle went woof real fast. Okay? It was okay until it got around 35. It started bouncing around, so it started feeling the effects of the other pole, or the other, the negative part or the positive part, whatever, the magnet, and you see it bouncing around, and then all of a sudden once it does completely reach 40, it flips. Okay, it went to the other side. Now that's a very good representation of what a pole reversal or a pole flip actually is. Obviously this is on a very low scale. Okay, and I don't think we can only speculate on what will happen when these poles flip or reversal. And again, I have to say this because this is a natural cycle that the Earth has. Okay, has it been sped up because of celestial stuff? I absolutely believe that. Okay, that's what I believe. Do I think that there's more stuff going on with our magnetosphere than just what we're seeing here? I think that this explains kind of the weird signatures that we see sometimes. I really do. Okay, but do I think that that's it? No, I don't. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to take you over to the ISWA site, and I'm going to show you some stuff. Now, we had an earthquake yesterday, guys. I'm just going to put that out there, and I'm going to show you what happened right before the earthquake and during, okay, on our magnetosphere, okay. And I'm just going to show you one tool here, because if we tried to show it all, it would just drag on. And it pretty much, all three of these tools, these up, well, I ain't on that right tab there. But, yeah, it's getting ready to load up here. Okay, I'm going to pause it. All right. Now, the earthquake happened at 1800 UTC. Okay. That right there is right at 1800. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain a little bit of stuff of what I think is actually going on. Now we have IMF lines, right? Okay, I've talked about this a lot. They're the blue lines on this graph. They're the ones that connect us to the sun and other celestial objects. Okay, that's basic. That at a very basic, that's what this is representing. Now you see these back here that are kind of hooking back. That has always puzzled me, how that could actually happen. Really, these lines should be like this in a perfect world. I have to say perfect world because even during normal times, they don't always look like that. So, but, sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit before I do that. Okay, now, what I want you to look at, first thing I want you to look at is, I just told you about the IMF lines, right? Well, why is there an IMF line? And we see this every once in a while, but not to this extent. There's a little itty bitty IMF line that's not connected to nothing. Okay? Actually, I'm going to zoom in a little further so you guys can see it even better. Alright, you see it start right here? And it does one of these numbers and stops. Okay? That's the first thing I want to show you, because that I don't know why that does that. Now we do see it do this sometimes. Okay, we see it kind of do one of these numbers. I think we can all say that. Now I think that's probably because of the push of the Earth's magnetics on that line, but it's broken. It stops right there and right there. And why do we have a miscellaneous IMF line right there in the middle of our graph? You know. The second thing I want to point out here, if you guys have been watching any of my videos lately, you'll see them that this thing is usually tilted about like that. Alright, well right now, look at it. It's kind of straight at the sun, which is really where it should be. Okay, well, I don't want to say it's where it should be. It does vary a little bit, depending on our season. It's where we connect to the sun and all that. It kind of pulls things in one direction or the other. But what I want you guys to pay attention as I move this bar back and forth is this IMF line. Okay, what you're going to see is this thing start spinning. And it's spinning north to south around this thing. And I've seen this before, but not to this extent. And again, this is right when this earthquake happened. And one thing I will say is you see this orange out here? Okay, that's stronger pressure coming in, okay? Or stronger disturbance, whatever. And like I said, it's going to hit our bow shock, which is this out here. And I'll just show it to you real quick, okay? I do that a lot. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to improve that. Okay? Now, again, watch this over here. You're going to see it spin. All right? See it starting to spin? Look at that. And it just keeps doing it. All right, then you see that it connected. Okay, what time did it connect? Around 9:15, what have you, whatever, 9 something, I don't know, right around that area. Okay, then it starts spinning again. All right, like I said, we see it spin once in a while, but not usually all the way over top of the Earth, flipping around like that. Normally, when it spins, it's kind of out here, out here in the front. I thought I had to. Out here in the front like that, and it'll spin right there. But what we're seeing is it was going all the way back this way and still flipping, still spinning. So, is that what is going on there? I don't know. That's kind of how motors and electricity is even generated, is that spinning motion from the magnets north-south, and, you got copper wires. I'm not going to go into all that, but anyway, we'll watch it spin a little bit more here. You can see it. Okay, it's not spinning anymore, but then it does it again. Okay, it keeps repeating here, guys. And you're seeing all these big disruptions coming through here, okay? And some of that is, like I said, most of it's coming from the direction of the sun right now. We were expecting some higher solar winds, and that's exactly what we got. So, but anyway, something I want to point out, I just showed you guys, right, that the direction of our shields was pretty much directed at the sun. Well, look where they're at now. Okay, it's moved. It moved fairly quickly, I should say. Okay, the earthquake happened at 1800 hours on the 15th. This is at 100 hours on the 16th, which is 5 hours later. So it didn't take it long to move that far, guys, is what I'm trying to say. Did that have anything to do with the earthquake? I don't know. I would never say that it did, because I can't prove that, or even, I'm just showing you an observation that I'm making, and it does kind of makes you wonder anyway. But why I got you guys here at this map, all right? Actually, I'm going to take it so you guys can see kind of a funky looking little signature. I should do it here in a second. Yep. Shoot. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's just run it back here then. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we've been asking here lately, at least I know I have, and I've heard other people asking, how can we get magnetic disruptions behind the Earth, like back in here, or even back in here, that didn't first hit our bow shock? Okay? Hit this bow shock right here. How can that happen? Well, the best best theories that I've seen and heard out there, and try to think of it on my own, just whatever, just trying to kind of wrap my brain around things. The sun, like I said, is over here. So we do see this a lot, that when we're getting solar energy this way, hits our bow shock will kind of collapse a little bit, and then you'll see these disruptions back here, right? That's a normal thing. Okay, even some of the bigger ones that we see. Doesn't mean that there aren't big disruptions, and doesn't mean that it can't cause issues, but we can at least explain it that it's coming from the sun. Now, the stuff that we can't explain is when we see big, huge disruptions back here that seem to either come from the Earth, and we've talked about backside pressure, we've heard that a lot too. Like there might be an object back here, whatever, causing it. I would tend to think that if that's actually happening, it would have to be way back here, especially if it's a big object. But, there's a lot of theories out there, and stuff could be closer, causing some of it. But the other theory that I've seen and heard and actually thought of myself, I seen this on a YouTube video, and it really made a whole lot of sense to me. That when that stuff happens behind the Earth and we weren't expecting any kind of thing from the sun, well, what if there was, this object we're talking about, guys, this whole Nemesis, Planet X, whatever you want to call it, solar system, I don't care what you call it, just a celestial body. What if it was down here below the Earth, okay, and actually was going around the bow shock, sending energy that way? Then you ask yourself, well, how is that possible? This thing doesn't have to be right next to Earth for it to affect us. Okay, it's pretty evident when you kind of go watch what these things have done to other planets when they cross even close to them, or even not even so close, just get some of the energy from them. I think what did Saturn flip on its side, and other things started doing all kinds of crazy things. If you research that, you'll see a whole lot of crazy stuff. But they're not going to say there was something that passed by Saturn or Uranus or whatever and caused it to flip on its side. They're never going to admit that. If they did, I would be really surprised. If they already did, I would really be surprised. But I don't think they would just come out and say, hey, yeah, that was caused by a celestial body just passing by. Yeah, they're not going to do that. Because half the planet would dig a hole right there and just go crawl in it. But anyway, I do think that this is a valid theory also. So basically what I'm saying is, guys, is that, there could be something down here doing that. Now, like I said, what would how can there be something there? Well, let me just drag this over here because this will be a better way to do it. Sun's over here, right? So we get typical energy this way, right? Well, when we rotate around the sun, orbit around the sun, we're orbiting very close to the equator of the sun. Okay, that's what they call the ecliptic. I believe that's how they word it. So when something isn't on that ecliptic, it is, excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. This stuff that we've been talking about is kind of on what they would say a elliptical orbit. Okay, we all know what an elliptical is, right? You get on it at the gym, you get the feet moving, all that kind of stuff. But what an elliptical orbit looks like is basically a lopsided orbit. Okay, it's doing one of those numbers. Okay, so that's how something could be below the Earth. I just wanted to explain that. It was explained to me a long time ago, so I kind of took for granted everybody understood that, what that would mean. But this thing would be below the Earth, so theoretically it was getting around our bow shock, is what I'm saying, at some level. And again, I think that everything that we're talking about right now, guys, is valid. I think it's all going on all at the same time. Plus a whole lot of other things. Now, I've been getting, people feel really strong about what they believe. Okay, and I applaud them for that. I really do. I believe strongly on what I believe also. But I have to say that we have to keep an open mind too. Okay? No matter how strong we believe, no matter what we're seeing, we can still be wrong. And I tried to explain this a little bit in my previous video. You don't have to be right about everything. It's just that, you know, if everybody's right about something, not you're right about everything, everybody's right about something, and that's where the truth's going to come. Okay, that's probably pretty much what's going to happen. Because everything I think is 100% true, and everything that you think, or he thinks, she thinks, whatever, we have to be able to accept the fact that sometimes it's going to be, and most of the time, it's going to be a collection of all that. And I just wanted to say that. And like I said, I don't get mad at people for having other opinions. That's just great. It really is. Because I've actually, you know, people have changed my mind on certain things. But don't take it personal if I don't agree with you. Okay, really, honestly. If I took it personal every time somebody disagreed with what I said, man, I would be a miserable person. I'm just saying. But yeah, so we're gonna kind of end it here. And you know, I had a good friend of mine, you know, kind of put things in perspective for me a little bit. All of us that come to this community, we know we're saying, look up, look up, look up, look up at the sky, look up at the sky. Here it is, here it is, here it is, right? Well, I think a lot of us, especially those of us that do these channels, we forget to look what's right beside us. Okay, we've said it so long and so many times, just trying to get people to look at the sky, which they weren't doing at all, and they are now, which is great, and getting our faces out of the phone. But we failed to sit back and look at our families, our friends, the stuff that is most important. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say. You know, all the stuff that we research, it's all fine and dandy. It really is. Everybody needs to, you know, kind of try to be aware and try to figure it all out on their own. But we can't forget what we're even trying to help. We're trying to help those that we love, right? And we're all just trying to find the truth together. And like I said, man, I mean, that really put it in perspective for me. You know, because I had forgotten that quite a bit. That we need to look down sometimes. Not so much down, just look out. Look at your family. Right here where we're at, just look around you. Okay? You know, always look up. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going up, but we also have to, like I said, look at the people around us and you know, really just grab a hold of that for a minute and just keep grounded in our values, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. And but anyway, guys, I hope you guys got something from that. Go check out that website, poleshiftnews.com, and Maverick Star Reloaded is the YouTube page. I'll leave links to that kind of stuff down there in the description. I'll put it in after I post the video. That's how I've been having to do it for some reason. But anyway, I'll post the video, then I have to go back in and edit the description and put it in there. Because I put links, I have to put back in and out. It's crazy. But anyway, like I said, guys, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.